If you can't kill a boss, no reason why you can't look like one. Moogle putting the wow in transmogs.
I think I'm going to call this set Rogue One. And right about now, a lot of Star Wars fans are like, that's not funny. Fellflame Infernal Shoulder Pads. This is the monk tier, but this is the piece that rogues can wear. Going to move on to the chest. Bring it to Cata, Dead Minds. Make sure you're on Heroic Foe Reapers 5000. 5% on the drop for the Vest of the Curious Visitor. Moving on to a Culturan Dude and the belt, which is Damron's Belt of Darkness, although it is kind of green. Siege of Orgrimmar LFR version Earthbreaker Harem, 14% on the drop rate for the belt. Now, the legs are part of the same drop set as the chest. Leggings of the Path, Lost City of Tol'vir. Siamat is the boss, and we got about an 8% drop rate on those. Got a Lady Orc with the Treads of Violent Intrusion. Tomb of Sargeras Heroic, various mobs, or you could buy it on the auction house, actually, so that's an easy piece to get. Moving on to the hands, Salt Stained Tuskar Gloves, High Mountain, Flotsam. He's a rare or boss, not sure which, but about a 5% drop rate on those. There are a few other drops, so you could just check Wowhead for that. Moknathal Wilder Cloak, Hellfire Ramparts. Not an easy pickup. I've been trying to get that for a while. Kor'khan Elite Skull Mask, part of the same tier set as the belt, of course, LFR, and the weapon, Shard of Azeroth, Black Temple, Illidan Stormrage.
Hard to imagine a panda sneaking around, but they do sneak around. Firelands Balrog, 10% on the drop rate for the shoulder pads of the Forgotten Gate. Always love that set from Firelands. Moving on to the chest, which is straight out of Hellfire Citadel. Archimond is the boss. Fair drop rate for the Iron Pelt Jerkin. Next up, we have the belt, which I believe is going to keep us in WoD. Got a Lady Blood Elf showing the Rune-Sworn Waistguard. It's a quest reward from Stormheim. Shadows in the Mist is the name of the quest. There's a lot of lookalikes on that belt, so you can always check Wowhead for that. The legs, Iron Pelt Leggings, Hellfire Citadel, Gorefiend. Kind of a fair drop rate, part of the same tier set or drop set as the chest. Moving on, we're going to move to a Worgen Rogue here. Treads of Dismal Fortune, Trial of the Crusader, Champions Cash, and we've got about a 14% drop rate on that. The Iron Pelt Mitts, part of the same tier set as the chest and the legs. The back, Fearless Gladiator Shadow Cape, which of course is Horde only, believe it or not. It's not shown here, but it's kind of a reddish cape and it looks pretty cool. I didn't show it on the tomb, but that's what you could use. Keepers of Time Tabard, you're going to need golden rep for that. Toria's Perseverance, Tanan Jungle, various mobs, or you could buy it on the auction house to get that reddish brown eye patch. And the weapon, Mindbender's Flame Bend. You're going to see this in a lot of videos. Love that weapon. Here we have a little bit of Wrath of the Lich King and a little bit of BC with a touch of BFA. Starting off with Naxxramas 25-man, normal mode, 54% shot to get the Valorous Bone Scythe Pauldrons. Moving on to the chest, Gladiator's Leather Tunic. This is, of course, in Netherstorm. BC PvP Vendor, 3 marks of honor to get the chest. Moving on to the belt, this is what brings us to BFA. Bloodstorm Buckle, Uldir Mythic. Talik is the boss, 5% on the drop rate for the belt. Now the legs, part of the same Rogue PvP tier set from BC, so you're heading over to Netherstorm. BC PvP Vendor, 3 marks of honor to get the Gladiator's Leather Laggards. Moving on, we are going to show you the boots and a Blood Elf dude showing the Valorous Bone Scythe helmet. So, of course, that's not the boots. That's the headpiece. Kel'Thuzad himself, 48 per Naxxramas has some great drop rates. Moving on to the hands, part of that same tier set out of Naxxramas, of course. Or you could head over to the Obsidian Sanctum and get those gloves as well. Better drop rate there. Looking pretty cool on an Orc Lady. Boots of Captain Ellis. This is, I believe, Alliance only. Not 100% sure, though. Dalaran, Wrath of the Lich King. You get that from a Quartermaster. The Tabard of the Shattered Sun. Shitrath City, Shattered Sun Quartermaster, and the weapon, Warmongering Gladiator Shanker. If you hoard, you gotta go wild.
Up at bat now, we have a horde, orc, obviously, Fallen Rune Lord Shoulders. You get these from Isle Expeditions, or it's a random drop, a difficult drop, but you can easily buy them on the auction house, so it'll go down as we progress into BFA. Blackwater Shimmer Scale Vest, Eternal Palace Heroic, Blackwater Behemoth drops it at a kind of a low drop rate, but I think it's really worth it for this brown and green kind of set here. The Belt Cinch of Detestable Guile. God, wow, what a name. Black Temple Time Walking, Inquisitor Meadow, or something like that. I'm close. One of them is right. Leggings of the Stormborn, which is the Eternal Palace Heroic. Radiance of Sharar, kind of a low drop rate, part of the same tier set as the chest. Moving on to a Dark Iron Dwarf, and we can head over to Hellfire Citadel, Tyrant Velhari, 15% chance to get the Oppressor's some kind of boots. Fallen Runelord's Gloves, Isle Expeditions, part of that same set as the Shoulders. And the back, Ivy Cloth Cloak, Stonethal Mountains, Golden Back, is rare or buy it on the auction house. Now we have a Lady Undead, Cenarian Expedition Tabard, Zangarmarsh, which of course is BC territory. Golden Exalted to pick up that Tabard. Helm of Imagined Horrors, which is at Hellfire Citadel. Keep in mind, Mythic, 13% drop rate. And the weapon, straight out of High Mall, Korra, 13% drop rate. Gonna start off with the Shoulders, which I really like this dungeon drop set. The Shoulders drop out of Forge of Souls, Bronze Jam, Bewildering Shoulder Pads, 8% on the drop rate, so you can do that at least once a day. The chest piece, chest guard of the Roaring Crowd, High Mall, Kargath, Blade Fist, 17% drop rate on the chest. Now the legs are part of that same drop rate set. Miststalker's Belt, though, is Isle Expeditions, or you could buy it on the auction house. I also do think it's treasure map reward occasionally, too. Moving on to the legs, as I said, part of the same drop set as the chest. Shattering Smash Legging, 16% drop rate. Black Hand, Black Rock Foundry, a lot of black there, including black pants. Magthar Orc, dude, showing Death Touch Boots, Dragon Blight, and Arcanimus, Cannabis. Okay, it's a quest reward out of Wrath of the Lich King. The hands, Carpal Tunnel Syndrome gloves. Why not, right? Halls of Reflection, Marwyn, 5% on the drop rate for the gloves. Moving on to a Nightborn Lady and the back, Waycrest Guards Cloak, Drusvar World Quest Rewards, which means it's Alliance only, but there is a lookalike. You can check Wowhead for that. Veil of Unseen Strikes, Court of Stars, Heroic Advisor, Melandris, 5% on the drop rate. The weapon, of course, is something that you could pickpocket humanoids or buy it on the auction house. Starting off with an Undead Shoulders, Fellflame Infernal Shoulder Pads. The Burning Throne Heroic, Hulking Demolisher, kind of a low drop rate to get those shoulders. It's part of a monk tier set, but those are the purple balls that other leather wearers can use. Valorous Terrorblade Breastplate, Ulduar Yogg Sarin, 7% on the drop rate for that chest from Wrath of the Lich King. Moving on to the belt, Grievous Gladiator's Waistband of Accuracy. If you hoard, it'll be prideful. Just one mark of honor from your mop PvP vendor. Moving on to the legs, which I do believe were also out of Ulduar, Valorous Terrorblade leg plates. Cache of Winter, kind of a fair drop rate to pick up that rogue tier out of Ulduar, that piece. Moving on, we have a human dude showing the feet, Veterans Leather Foot Guards. Netherstorm PvP vendor, just 2 marks of honor to get the boots from the BC PvP vendor in Netherstorm. The hands are the Muck Dweller gloves. Red Ridge Mountains, it's quest reward. You could even just go with some kind of gray or purple or blue
bracers if you want, if you're Horde, dark leather cloak, vanilla level tailoring, check your local tailor, check your local auction house for the purple cloak, which I happen to like quite a bit, and the headpiece is Valor's Terrorblade helmet, old wire once again, kind of a fair drop rate, part of the same tier set as the chest and legs, and the weapon, Dragon Soul Heroic Hagara, the Stormbinder. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Once again, my name is Luxeley, and I'll leave you with this final thought. Whatever it is by you, whether it's morning, afternoon, or like it is here, nighttime, remember, make it epic.